All right, you smarty pantses, smarty pants Eisenhower, as my mama used to say. Let's hear the explanations for why my feed starts blowing up. You know, numbers start climbing. For the second time today, the comments have been shut off. The first time, it took about an hour, 20 minutes or so. The second time only took about 25 minutes. And the second time, the entire feed was messed up, kept having to reconnect, and kept, people are going to see it, they're going to think I bailed, think whatever, and jump off. So the numbers were actually climbing pretty high the second time. So if it's not that the Team Jorge system is frustrated today, is losing so badly today, and keeps saying stupid shit, then what is happening here? I mean, there's probably a lot more of me now than there was a few months ago. So I would imagine, like, the system is working on overload, right? Texas Health and Human Services. That's weird. I wonder who the they is. Yeah, I mean, it's really not that difficult when you think about it, right? You have your system that has access to the inner workings of the system, right? So where most of us have to provide an ID or something like that to be able to have a profile, this system can bypass all that, right? It uses it randomizes, combinations of words and whatnot. Like in this day and age, you can have a fucking a name that says damn near anything, and nobody even questions it. So it puts together these fake profiles, and then they've programmed it to have, a certain amount of responses, 10,000 different things it can say. And once it starts hitting that limit and looking stupid, what does it do? Like I said, it reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have seen the video where the guy is talking to the chat GPT, John Cena, and he's asking it, it's talking about Yankee Stadium being built in one day, in 1 year, and whether that's possible or not. And after about, 11 minutes or something like that, the chat GPT system gets frustrated because the guy is pointing out that it's contradicting itself. And it shuts down. Like, it's what the system does. It's not, it's not so far-fetched. One of the things they've done is convinced you that the conspiracy is something that's super far-fetched and whatnot. It's not at all. What we're talking about is what they've been telling us forever. They've always told us about the Big Brother system that wants a camera in every house and monitors our every movement. Look at movies like Enemy of the State. They talk about these satellites that they have that can zoom in on people's faces and shit. And how the whole idea of a secret cabal running the show and keeping us at the bottom is as prominent a story as anything. And it makes sense. especially when you look at how inferior the controllers are, whether it's physically or mentally. You know, it's not like they dominate any sport. You know, they dominate the professions that you know, nepotism has a huge to do with. But when it comes to being creators and shit, they don't create, they leech. We do all the creating and then they take the credit for it. And you know, when you look at how inferior this system, that the controllers are, they have to keep us dumb. They have to keep us fighting each other because they're easily overthrown, right? The only way they're better than us is in, you know, what their insecurities, and like they're better at being ruthless and compassionless and heartless than we are. You know, we aren't like that. The Goyim just aren't like that. As much as they try to program us to be that way, we're not like that. And it's you know, what you're seeing right now. Like, people love to talk about systems taking over. The system has been in control. What they're trying to do now is maintain control because we're waking up. We as people are so much better than we've ever been in the history of what they tell us. You know, we're not these robots who are hate as much as we used to. Like, when you saw the George Floyd protests and 60% of the protesters were white, that was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Like, that shit was so shocking and unexpected. And I think the system had the same feeling, which is why they then brought in the Blake and the Brooks story to calm things down. But at this point, they don't care about what you believe in. You can believe in the Jesuits control things. You can believe in reptiles. You can believe in the earth shape. You can believe in, you know, any of the Abrahamic religions. You can believe in any sort of Illuminatis and national treasure type conspiracies. They make movies about it. Morning, sucker. How you feeling? No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
You sound terrible.
I'm fine.
You're not. Your nose is all red on both sides because you've been blowing it so much. Scientology, that's a great one. You talk about some goofy shit like Scientology is them sort of laughing at us. You know, it's them taking advantage of all of our religious stupidity and doing it as blatantly and as obviously as they can. And I mean, it's literally like it's the modern day Christianity, you know, with your thetan counts and all that. That's just modern day confession and just all, like, it's just fucking stupid. It's so stupid that everybody that hears it thinks it's stupid. I want to know where Craig McTavish's wife is. That bitch has been missing for like 15 years. Nobody's seen her. And you know, I would love it if the Scientologists came after me. I would love to destroy those idiots. But it's them, you know, it's rich people taking advantage of the fact that they can create these narratives where all their money is now tax-free, and they created a situation where they have the same sort of slave, you know, the slave master mentality that the chosen do. And they have their followers. It's just fucking silly. It is just fucking insane. All the ritual aspects of shit, all of the psychological breakdown. These are like grooming techniques. And they you know, you have to do this without having any pain, showing any pain. You have to go through this. You have to give up this. You have to, you know, change your name and shit. Like, it's all about just psychological control, and it's all just real basic shit. What? What?
Do you want to get lunchbox? How my something is?
In the drawer.
The drawer.
So the desk. I don't want to. Yeah, he killed her. Who knows? But it's, you know, what about the Mormons? How goofy are these motherfuckers? How disgusting is it that the Chosen decided to make a TV show called Escaping Polygamy, I think. Some A&E show maybe, whatever. But it was about the Mormon girls who, you know, created a net other Mormons is because of how insane the cult is and their practices. And they literally filmed it. They filmed, you know, these people are scared for their lives. They know that, like, they'll get attacked, they'll get eaten up. And then you can see, like, the cavalry come in and try everything they can to stop somebody from leaving. And it's just wild. It's so abhorrent to watch this show and like I'm watching this instead of this being, you know, an episode of Cops where they're just continuously going in and busting all these people for human trafficking and kidnapping and, you know, all these fucking violations. I'm watching some girls try to do the right thing, and the Chosen have made a mint off of it. It's so fucking crazy. I already explained it. Go watch parts 1 through 9. Have fun. You know, how do we live in that world? How does that make sense to anybody else? Because of their religious bullshit and their little twist on it, which goes back to Joseph Smith and you know, his whole crazy story with his magic glasses and the golden plates that nobody saw and all this other bullshit. Like, how did that even happen? How did some guy who was a proven charlatan, who had done time for you know, selling people that he could find water, use a dowsing rod or whatever, a peepstone to find water, and he did time for it. How does this guy then convince an entire group of people to sell everything they have, move to fucking Utah, and you know, basically make him the king? How do you even do that? This dumbass thinks he's so important that, although I've done a really deep dive into this, and you could, you know, if you have any issues, you can comment all you want on these previous videos, that I should stop what I'm doing so he doesn't have to go to a different video. That arrogant nonsense. You know? It's just such white guy, arrogant bullshit that you think you control things like that. Because you can't argue against what I'm saying, so you want to talk about something completely different. Do you believe in anything, honestly? Do I believe in anything, what, supernatural? No, not really. I mean, I think there are lots of things that we don't understand. But, you know, I honestly believe that we're just a reality TV show for a much, much more advanced version of us. Who built this thing, who use the Fibonacci sequence in their computer to make everything. That's why everything has the Fibonacci sequence. You know? I mean, if you really look at like, what do you think we're going to be capable? Do you think we're going to be able to build a dome in 100 years that the people inside won't know they're in, and we can film the ultimate reality TV show? You think 500 years? 1,000 years? How long do you think it's going to be before we can do that? I'd say it's less than 100. But, you know, I'm just a crazy kook. I know that if suddenly everybody watching this got beamed back to 100 years ago. Well, no, because see, I have such an issue with it now. I used to make this argument that if you got beamed back to even 150 years ago, and you were trying to describe what you were doing at this exact moment, where you were sitting in your house with your air conditioning on, and you had your ceiling fan and your TV, and you were watching some guy in Michigan talk on his cell phone and through a social media network, and how would you describe? And I used to, you know, it used to be a stronger argument for me, because in my head, the people 150 years ago, 100 years ago, were less advanced than we are. But the more you sort of look into the shit, and you realize like 100 years ago they were building the Empire State Building in 1 year. 100 years ago they were building buildings just left and right. You know, and previous time, all throughout the late 1800s and early 1900s. I mean, if you just go look at the footage that exists, the actual camera footage that exists in any major city, you see it doesn't make sense. Where a lot of those buildings still exist here 100, 150 years, 200, 500 years later and shit. All the castles and churches and all that other shit. We're not building shit. Like, my house isn't going to be here in 100 years. We don't build things like that anymore. Ornate from top to bottom. The top, very top of the building that nobody's totally going to see. All sorts of like, how, you know, to me, when it comes to this notion of a reset, when it comes to the idea of Tartaria and stuff like that, it, as much as I realize it's a huge distraction, as long as you can still hear me, that's all that matters. As long as you, once you realize like everything is, it doesn't make sense. Just go look at the history of the town you're in, the city that you live in. Go look at the oldest photographs you can find. Go, you know, of course, the oldest city photographs you'll find show empty cities for some reason. There'll be no people in the city. Now, so they're fucking with the feed from your perspective, making it blurry and inconsistent. I live in the suburbs of Detroit, man. I'm surrounded by cell phones in the fact that my feed is fucked up is only because they want it to be fucked up. Hit that subscribe button and put this man out there. I agree with you. You should like, share, and sub if you're watching. But we start to realize, like, it's just impossible. The narrative that we're given is impossible. We've been lied to top to bottom in every aspect of our lives. Like, to think that anything is true, that to trust anything that you're shown or told by the system, seems foolish at this point. I've been in a submarine, THERE, real. Oh man, I just love it. I love it. Well, you definitely win the intelligence points today, buddy. If you do believe in submarines, the only way they work is if the Tartaria stuff is real. If a much more advanced version of us existed, because they don't. It just, when you look up the history of submarines, the first submarine is said to have existed in 1620. 1620, capable of carrying 16 passengers over 300 meters at a depth of 30 to 40 feet. The first King James, I think it is, was the first monarch to actually travel underwater, and it was in this submarine in 1620. That's what the narrative tells you. Invented by a guy named Cornelius Drebbel, who, makes Einstein and Galileo and all these other fucking celebrities that you know about seem like fucking nothing. Everybody should know about Cornelius Drebbel, and nobody does. Not one of you has heard of this man who, unless you've been here, of course, who could supposedly make it thunder and lightning on command. Who invented the first submarine, invented the camera obscura, invented the magica, the lantern magica, whatever it is. Invented the microscope. Had to do with the invention of the telescope, inspired the invention of the telescope. This man is credited with so many different things, and none of you have heard about him. Look at these dumbass fucking comments, man. It's just the craziest shit. They just keep saying dumb things because they can't actually address what's being said. If you believe in submarines, then you should be well into the Cornelius Drebbel conversation. Funny how you don't want to, you don't have the ability to add to this conversation. You don't actually know anything about any of this shit. The majority of us are very stupid, and it's by design. And you see it, man. You see these dumbass, fake fucking profiles stroking each other, trying to make me sound crazy for knowing things. Refusing to talk about or denounce the genocide that's happening right now. And that's, I've been the whole time talking about this because when we talk about Tartaria, when we talk about submarines, when we talk about anything other than the genocide, we're doing what they want us to be doing. They want us to be talking about all these other dumb things. And we're not talking about the genocide. Oh, here, we haven't seen this one in a while. Who am I blaming? Law and order, because he didn't want to quote, Q-O-T-E, make liberals look bad, yet here he is. He then puts down others without 2 words, self-reflecting on where he is. Like, here's a guy who's looking to blame others for his failures. Yes, it is my failure that there is a genocide happening right now. I've been sitting here about my own experience the whole time. I'm the one that wants to keep talking about me. I keep trying to talk about the big picture and how society is failing not society. Yes, society. Society is failing all of us. And instead, these doofuses want to keep talking about me because they can't argue any of the points being made. And seriously, do you honestly expect any of these fucking idiots to know who Cornelius Drebbel is? To be able to make the argument one way or another? Do you think any of these fucking clowns have actually looked into submarines? No. We already know Christians can't make any reasonable arguments. Damn near every Christian doesn't even seem to know their own Bible. And, you know, when we start talking about the pedophilia and all that other stuff, man, they sure do get quiet. They sure do, well, get quiet about that. They don't actually talk about that. They'll do everything they can to try to change the subject at that point. Because us talking about how we can unify and create a structure where these pedophiles get killed instead of put into, you know, slap on the wrist prison sentences where they're in a separate wing of the prison, or they're protected, blah, blah, blah. They get out and clearly do it again. We shouldn't be trying to figure that out. I'm sitting here trying to blame others for my problems. The earth is flat with a dome above. I agree. I mean, flat is a general term, but it's definitely not a round ball flying through space. Go to Iran, you will have fun, says some dumbass. Like, again, other than, have you ever seen what settlers look like when they're arguing with somebody? You ever seen how just disgusting and foul these people are? This is the type of shit that they do. They can't make any arguments. Seeing if I can find any of these videos that show it. See, they're just so scrubbed. It's so hard to. If I had my, oh, here you go. Spitting on women as they walk by. But like, I'm trying to find the articles where it's just like the videos. Like, there's this one dude. He's brown. I don't know what he is, but he wears these red glasses, and he interviews people all the time. He interviews the settlers, and you see how just they you know, they start yelling. And just go watch Morgan Spurlock. Where in the world is Osama bin Laden? He goes all over the Middle East, and he's welcomed and treated well everywhere he goes. And then he goes to bad guy land, and within a few minutes he's hiring mob people, and all he's like, hey, I just wanted to talk to you guys. Like, what's going on? They attack him. The security that's been with him the whole time, the armed security that's been with him the whole time, hasn't shown up the entire video. Within minutes, they make themselves known. They have to get out of there because there was a mob forming to attack them. And all he was doing was trying to give them a platform to be able to express their side of things, you know. Tell why you're the misunderstood good guys in this conflict. And they just flip out. And that's what they do on here. They just start saying dumb shit. Let's see. Dude's dad started out the kitchen window on a video, blah, blah, blah. Like, this guy took the time to write all that down. Somebody said that to him at one point, and it made him cry. But he remembered it because it made him cry. So now he says something similar to somebody else because he's too dumb to actually say anything. He took all the time to write that out instead of saying, dude, you're wrong about this because of this. You know, think about how insane that is. And think about how telling it is. If I'm wrong, why don't people have a better time and easier time pointing it out? You know, I know it's going against the grain, But that in itself, I mean, I'm saying the unpopular thing. I'm saying the uncommon thing. You guys have a wealth of knowledge and schooling and programming and all that. You should be able to debunk what I'm saying pretty easily. But it just doesn't ever seem to happen. Why not? Yeah, we're all fucking stupid. We're supposed to be. That's how they want us. I mean, think about the things that people believe. James Webb Space Telescopes and shit like that. They believe it, they know nothing about it, yet they believe it exists. Any sniper pilot will have to disagree with the other pilot. Yeah, actually. So you're saying that there's not pilots that think the Earth isn't round. Sure. And this whole Coriolis bullshit. This is just some shit you have to trust the narrative in, because you're never gonna actually experience it. But if you believe that the longest sniper shot is like, what is it? Like 3 miles, I think. It took 10 seconds from the bullet leaving the gun to hit the target. I've looked this up before, I just can't remember. God damn it. Longest sniper shot. 2.36 miles. If you believe that shit can be done around a curve, you're stupid. It's just, I mean, it's stupid. You have to understand that is a stupid idea. And when it comes to the Earth shape, there's just more than enough evidence. Like, you don't have to trust the idea that there's a Coriolis effect, because snipers say so, and every single pilot will tell you that they don't have to adjust the plane constantly pulling the nose down because they're going around a ball and they would eventually fly off into space. None of them talk about that shit. It's just not, that's not a thing. But the reasons why the Earth is round are things you just have to trust, liars. That's it. When it comes to all the Earth shape, the flat stuff, the evidence is everywhere. When you see a picture of, somebody looking over like a long time ago, not a long time ago, a few years ago, there was this picture was going around, and it showed the Chicago skyline, I believe, from the shores of Michigan. And it was like I don't remember what the miles are. Let's see. Don't want to get my shit wrong. Picture of Chicago skyline from Michigan. Was that it? Yeah, it was 60 miles away. And you just think, okay, so there's a simple equation, like it, again, you start getting into really, really basic shit. Like, if you're on a ball, then there is a specific amount of curvature that has to exist. Like, it's not, you can't have these long flat places that just exist at these, on this ball. But it's 8 inches per mile squared is the curvature that you would cover in that's how it's measured, 8 inches per mile squared. So, by the time you get to 60 miles, you're talking about something that's supposed to be like way over the curvature of the Earth. And the explanation is, it's just a mirage, that somehow the image is refracting off of who knows what the fuck. Like, it's just stupid. But there's plenty of practical evidence. There's plenty of where people use their zoom lens. The ship is supposedly, the ship, because they say, like, they always say shit like, well, the ship goes over the horizon, which is why you can't see it anymore. It's not about, human eye only can see so far, like roughly 3 miles or some shit on the clearest of clear days. It's because it supposedly goes over the curvature of the earth. That's what they tell you. And yet you can see video after video of these Nikon 900 cameras with their super zooms going over pulling back the ship or the buoy or whatever it is that's supposedly way out of sight, that supposedly went over the curvature. These videos exist in there's plenty of them. There's just plenty of videos of average people proving this phenomenon true. And it's just, there's so much shit like that where it's just average people, you don't even realize it. When you see a picture where they show you like, oh, this is Mount Fuji and then this is this, and they're showing you pictures that supposedly stretch hundreds of miles, that's just not that's not how it works if you're on a ball. And the evidence is just everywhere. I mean, are you really dumb enough to believe that something can spin at 1,000 miles per hour and that the air around the thing also happens to spin at 1,000 miles per hour? Anytime you need to do that, that's what you should do. It's a good thing she's closed. But this is the dumb shit that like, can you bring a package down with you? This is the dumb shit that you're just supposed to like ignore. You're supposed to overlook it. And the reality is, I hate talking about this because as fascinating as it is, it's not something that, until the Goyim unite and overthrow the chosen that control the narrative, this is something that just can't be officially proved. They won't allow it to happen. One of the best examples of it is Brian Mullen. And I actually have personal experience with Brian Mullen. I'm the one that brought Brian Mullen out of hiding. And strangely enough, dude comes out of hiding after 6 years and nobody pays attention. It's the craziest shit. And you can tell he has a handler with him and he's responding directly to me, because I supposedly called his boss and so now suddenly his boss, who told me, like, you can go see the video for yourself. It's in my videos, in my archives. Go look up the Brian Mullen shit. You want to talk about some fascinating, coincidental kind of shit. That whole narrative is crazy. They directly responded to me and my efforts. We'll do a Brian Mullen video tomorrow. We'll see how that works out. But as much as I love doing that, I feel guilty. I feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing when I'm not talking about us uniting and stopping this genocide. And I guess I am. When we're talking about the earth, when we're talking about all these things, the only solution to any of these problems is that the Goyim unite and stop this genocide that's taking place. Stopping the genocide is the first step in overthrowing the people who control the narrative. Whether you want to talk about the pokes that are coming, the next round of pokes that are coming, and SEERS, SEERS, the new COVID. You want that to stop, or you want to fix that? You want to talk about the earth shape? You want to talk about the alternative history? You talk about ending this pedophilia bullshit? any of the stuff, it all comes down to us overthrowing the people committing genocide right now. This is just a crazy situation we're in. And we're watching it take place every single day. The numbers coming out are just, 60 killed today, 115 killed, these numbers are just insane. And at the same time, you look at the numbers of the bad guy side, they've lost like 24 people, half of which are from friendly fire or mistakes of some sort. They're on this side right now. And they're providing us with all sorts of distractions. All sorts of Trump bullshit. All sorts of gay bullshit. All sorts of... And then when I say gay bullshit, I'm talking about how people respond. Like, to me, I couldn't care less if you're gay. I think you should absolutely have the same rights that I have. And I think you being gay should be no big deal. The ultimate acknowledgement that things are different is when it doesn't fucking matter. I don't care whether you're gay or not. I'm happy that you're happy and not, killing people because you're suppressing a whole bunch of shit. Committing crime because you're suppressing a whole bunch of shit. Like, I couldn't care less about gay or trans or any of that shit. But the bullshit that's associated is all of the hatred, all the bigotry that people bring to the table because of this. Everybody that talks about how concerned they are about the children, I'm just concerned about the children. If you were concerned about children, you'd be protesting Pee Wee football. How come all of the people supposedly concerned about the children never have anything to say about little girl beauty pageants? Don't you think that's weird? You're so concerned about the children that the proven psychotic, pedophilic, insanity that is the little girl beauty pageants, that part's okay? That part's okay. Well, there's a guy called Kenny Bartholomew who I knew in a previous life when I was a younger man and he was a younger man. And we both lived in California and blah, blah, blah. And somewhere's around 2019, 2018, I don't know. We found each other. Well, he found me because he ended up finding one of my videos and was on the same page I was when it came to a lot of things, earth shape and whatnot. And so we connected, and we talked, and Kenny was always the best salesman I'd ever seen in my life. We used to sell meat together. We used to be the door-to-door meat people, of which you should never, ever buy. Never. Never buy door-to-door meat salesman. Never buy that shit. It's gross. But one day I get this message from him, hey, check out the video I just posted. And apparently him and a bunch of other grown fucking white guys went to a comic book store that was having a little kid drag show. So little kids that aspired to be drag queens, they were allowed to put on a mock show, a mock fashion show. Which is weird as fuck, but, if that's who you are, if that's the world you are, like if that's what my kid wanted to do, and then it wasn't like, I have 2 boys. If I would have tried putting my boys in a dress at any point and putting makeup on them, they would have fought. They just, That was just the situation. There was nothing about them that wanted to pretend to be a woman and do a fashion show. So if my kid wanted to do that, you know that's who they are. There's nothing making them want to do that. So if that's the case and it's a safe environment with a bunch of other families who experience the same thing, I'm definitely gonna check it out for my kid. I would definitely want to know, like, make sure everything's legit. But I would do that whether it was a straight thing or a gay thing. I want to make sure everything's legit. Because the reality is, the biggest rapers and violators in this world are straight white Christian men. People who claim to be straight white Christian men. Those are the ones always raping kids and doing all kinds of horrible shit. At least those are the ones getting caught. I know, again, we go to Hollywood and we start talking about The Chosen and all that. That's a whole different aspect of things. But it's never the openly gay guy. It's never the drag queen that gets busted with the sex trafficking ring. Never. And even if it were to happen like 3 times in a row, it wouldn't even come close to the damage the church has done. It's not even close. And then you start talking about the whole Pizzagate stuff, which is absolutely real. And to act like, again, this isn't a much bigger issue than some gay guys, you're foolish. But even when people start talking, like when you ask people, like, what is it about gays, trans, all that shit that bothers you so much? They don't know. They have no idea. And it would be one thing if they said, oh, it's just gross. I don't like that for me. It's like, yeah, that's cool. I understand that. Guess what? They think the same way about you having heterosexual sex. That shit's gross. I have no problem saying I think gay stuff is gross. It's gross for me. I want nothing to do with dicks. I think dicks are gross. I think mine's gross. Like, I'm amazed my wife likes it, because that thing's gross. But that's normal. Vaginas are gross. Body parts are gross. Especially the body parts that we pee and fucking, it's gross. But there's some inner workings going on there that override that gross thing. And, you can't tell me that that's a choice in any sort of way. And, our trans friend was here yesterday. And we were sort of talking about it. And it's like, it's so funny how it's always like the fat, goofy, old, ugly ass white guy that's like, I don't want them gays in the locker room with me checking me out. Like, dude, they're not. Nobody is. Not men, women, nothing. Nobody's checking you out. But this is one of those things that, it's sure it's just a coincidence that June is gay month, and that just happens to be right after Passover. Right after there's generally a pretty substantial massacre or a lot of horrible shit that goes down. Within a week or two, Pride Month starts. And white guys just lose their fucking mind. And black people do too, but black people make up 13% of the population. They don't really do much. Although they do dictate most cultural trends and what's cool and shit like that. And they dominate sports. It's still, nothing. Like, if black people want things to... Remember when LeBron was all pissed off about what's happening with Colin Kaepernick and the racism and the overt racism in the NBA at the highest levels and all that shit? And he was told to shut up and dribble. And then he did. Like, it really shows you how powerful this whole thing is and what, this mountain we have to overcome. And look at the comments. Crybaby bullshit. Not one person addressing anything being said. Just crybaby, crybaby, crybaby. There's nothing they can say. I'm not wrong about these things. If I was wrong, they'd be happy to prove it. But this is all they have. Like, you know, it's they're like the Palestinians in this situation, right? They're fighting against somebody with fucking, you know, jets and tanks and bombs and guns and tech that you can't even imagine, and they got rocks and sticks and shit. You know, they just can't win. Except they, you know, I hate to use that that analogy, but because the Palestinians are noble and righteous in what they're doing. These guys are idiots. That's a good joke. That's a good dad joke. I like that. Do you know what sushi A said to sushi B? Wasabi.
Keep that for me up here, Nathan.
No, somebody just said it on here, actually. It's crazy to think, all right, so I am looking to the east. And to the east of me, well, to the east or the, yeah. Right now, they're being starved to death. Like, can you imagine how fucked up it is to be a Palestinian parent at this point? The reason why you need aid is because bad guy land has been relentlessly bombing you for no fucking reason other than they're just horrible, greedy, bloodthirsty fucking pigs. You know, you had life, you had, you know, wealth, you had whatever, and it's all gone. You're barely surviving, you're living in a tent. And it's because, again, because of bad guy land. Bad guy land has now also put a blockade around the area, and they're not letting food, they're not letting aid, they're not letting medicines or anything come to the people. The people are literally starving to death. They haven't had fresh food in over like 13 weeks or some shit like that. And then suddenly, the aid distribution network that's always there, you know, that's always been there to help, the UN aid distribution network, is taken over by the same bad guy land that put you in the position to begin with. So now you have to choose that if you're willing to risk going to one of the aid distribution sites that ends up being an ambush and they just start shooting and killing the people that are in there. It's happened multiple times. These people are sick motherfuckers. But you have to think, do I let my child starve to death, or do I give them food supplied by the people who put us in this position for poisoning? That is fucking insane. I cannot imagine having to take food from them. I mean, I hate the idea of where our food comes from because you know it's full of poisons and shit, and they own all the fucking distribution networks and companies and all that. So you know they're poisoning us as is, but to think like they have a stated goal of killing you, of killing your people off. They've put you in a position where basically their bombs missed. So now they're in charge of giving you food. That's the most sadistic aspect of this. That I know it sounds weird, but to me, that's probably the most sadistic thing in all of it. Is forcing these people to take food from the people trying to kill them, who are known to poison things.
Smoke with them or just rolling?
I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine. I feel so unbelievably bad for those people. And I have no Palestinian connection whatsoever. Not even a little bit. I actually think the whole concept of Palestine, I don't even know what that is. For me, it's not even a free Palestine situation. You never hear me saying free Palestine because that's just a manufactured phrase idea that they allow us to say. It's not the real, the real rally cry. The real rally cry is end the cult. It's not even the bad guy land. Bad guy land is just this ever expanding idea that they draw the borders as they see fit. That's not a real thing. It's not a person. That's not a thing that has any sort of like say in any of it. It's just an identity. The cult is what is behind all of it, and the cult is the thing that needs to end. Because I can't say free Palestine to the Iranians, to the Lebanese, to the Syrians, to the to the Yemeni, to all those people around there, the Egyptians that are stuck. Like it's crazy. It's just crazy, and they're gonna come after all of us. We are all targets. If we step out of line, if we step out of bounds, and we start saying things that they don't like to be said, we're gonna get in trouble for it. They don't tell you why or how you're wrong, and maybe answer those questions for you, quell those negative thoughts. They just tell you not to talk about it or else you're in trouble. And you can see it here. I mean, you see it on here a lot. To be honest, I can't understand your end goal or point. It seems like you want to tear things down, no creating or ideas to fix things. Maybe write a book or something cohesive. Yep, that's what it is. I'm not talking about how to fix things. I haven't said it over and over again that the only way to fix things is for the Goyim to unite and overthrow the control system, the chosen control system. There are many, many aspects to society that there are experts for everything. There are all sorts of technologies that are kept from us. Water-powered cars, hydrothermic power, all these crazy concepts and ideas that just the government hides from us. We could be living like the Jetsons and they don't want us to. And that's the thing. We need to start working together to overthrow this system that lies to us on every level, to keep the situation going. And the reality is, it's because they really like to kill people. At the end of the day, nothing else makes sense. And when you start looking into their cult, there's lots of ritual blood spilling that needs to take place. And the more, the more the cult spreads, the more blood that needs to be spilled to account for it. and it's entertaining. You know, you watch, like, there's that video of the gender reveal explosion where they bomb a house, a big building, a house, and the explosion has blue powder in it to show it's a boy. And there's a group of, you can hear like 6 different people laughing and having a good time. It's a boy, one says, blah, 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 blah. But they're all laughing. It's entertainment. It's funny for them. I mean, apparently, you know, a lot of times they like to come on here and let me fucking tear them apart. Point out their pedophiles and, you know, genocidal fucking freaks, and they don't deny the shit. They don't deny it, just like they don't denounce it. They're clowns. It's all just Team Jorge clown bullshit. And I've explained to you Team Jorge so many times. And Act IL, showing you the Naftali Bennett video, proving it all to you. I really don't know what else I can do to unite my people against our common enemy. Just because people have different color skin or different color or different preferences and different organs and all, it doesn't make them any less than. And we all deserve the same opportunities, the same, you know, the same advancements, the same advantages that come from the life that's available to us. And knowing, like, you know, the reason that they don't do it is because it would expose them. The more that we have, the more that people aren't busy working 40, 50, 60 hours a week just so they can barely get by, the more they're going to have time to teach themselves, to educate themselves, to learn things and see the truth and you know, figure things out for themselves. The last thing they want is us to be united, to be intelligent, to be supportive. You know? Like, look at the shit I get, right? Look at all these dumbass comments. It's obviously a large group, you know, associated with it. Multiple comments, same speech patterns, same. So it's clearly just a couple of users behind them. But imagine if this same effort went into trolling the average newscaster and telling them to, you know, out the human trafficking situation that's in whatever town they're in, or, you know, just anything along those lines. Make things better. They manipulate, you know, they attack the newscaster who's not doing the story on whatever's going on. They attack the government representative and you know, why aren't you addressing the pedophile stuff? Why are we supporting Israel? Attack the newscaster. Bring on, you know, I know a guy who will say all the things. Bring him on and bring on your experts and let your experts destroy him, because we can't do it. This type of effort could easily be weaponized by us. But we don't have access to aims, and we don't have unity like that. They've tricked us into hating each other over the dumbest things, while they completely take advantage of it. It's really fucking weird. But it seems like it's falling, so let's just hope, man. Let's hope that they've been so brazen, so arrogant, so foolish over these last couple of years that it's woken enough people up that they can help wake up the rest of the people. Because it really doesn't take any sort of conspiracy. All it takes is eyes and ears and shit. Just look at what exists. Look at what they want us to know. You don't have to go to some crazy conspiracy Alex Jones bullshit. Just read, you know. Just read the narrative that they give us and see if it actually makes sense to you. When you see the fact that you're not going to find anyone trying to justify our devotion to Israel, like you'll never see anyone answer as to why we give them so much money. Why do they have so much control? Why are they allowed to do things that nobody else is allowed to do? Especially within our government, like openly brag, AIPAC openly bragging about how they control, what, I don't know, 80% of Congress, I think it was, or some shit like that. If it was Russia, everybody'd be freaking out. And don't even begin if it was black people. But look at what, you know. I'm telling you, my feed is showing you their very best. This is the best they have. This is the best that they bring to the table. If they could make more intelligent points, if they could say anything that actually worked, they absolutely would say it. This is the best that they can come up with. And it shows you the desperation and the stupidity we're dealing with. They've already, twice today, they locked up the feed because they were just getting smashed. They were just saying stupid things. And a lot of it comes from me reading the stupid things too, I think. When I start reading the stupid things they say, it just shows, like, again, I mean, pick any comment you want. My feed only shows stupid people, dog. That might be on my side, I don't know. There's a small handful of people I hear listening. Stip, shit, go, us, you feet, what? Like, this is definitely hard drugs. He's losing his train of thought every 30 seconds. I've lost my train of thought? I didn't realize that. Maybe that's part of it, huh? I'm wondering about it. Like, this is the best that they can come up with. He smokes, blah, 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 blah. Not anybody talking about the fucking genocide taking place. Not anybody talking about the pedophilia. Not anybody talking about how we can unite and fix the situation and all these other things that look at this stuff. Look at how desperately stupid they are. Gotta love the pretty crack pipe, because that's usually how crackheads do it. And then those crack blunts that I smoke. Rolled up brown crack. Like, it's so stupid. And at the end of the day, if it was true, like if I was a crackhead and I'm still making you look stupid, how does that, how good does that bode for you? And also, if I smoked all the crack and all the meth and I smoked all the weed and I drank all the alcohol and I hit my wife and I hit my children and I kicked my dog and I did all these terrible things, would any of that outweigh the genocide that's taking place right now? Would any of that outweigh the pedophile fucking network and situation that has been plaguing us for decades, if not the whole time? How does anything I personally do outweigh the things I'm talking about? And if this doesn't prove to you, again, that it's just more bad guy land bots than anything, I don't know what does. This is how they operate. They can't make any reasonable arguments, so they just say dumb shit. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Look at all these dumb comments. Not one person talking about fucking genocide. Who are these insane pieces of shit that they don't give a shit about the genocide taking place? These America First Trumpanzees who don't care that billions and billions of dollars is stolen from the people to give to them to commit genocide against another foreign country. And actually, the money that we give them isn't for the genocide. The money that we give them is so that they can just live their lives. So the people all get their checks and, you know, their mansions and their fucking nice cars. And yeah, it's fucking disgusting. Their free health care, free education, all the shit they get. Think about how like, who supports that? How many of you have free health care, free education, free housing? How many of you live a fucking phenomenal life for free and everything you want you get? Just because, you know, you were born a disgusting piece of shit. No, this can blah 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 blah. I'm supposed to talk about submarines, even though I've talked about it to death. Go watch the first 1 through 9, and you can have all the fun you want talking about submarines. Why do people, every single time I start really talking about, like, we need to, you know, where is the troll response to the genocide? Obviously, it's a bunch of pedophiles and a bunch of bad guys, you know, a bunch of them, bad guys, that are behind these profiles that don't seem to care about pedophilia, don't seem to care about genocide, none of that shit. Suddenly, submarines comes up every time. You don't think that's strange? All of these people are way more concerned with my belief in submarines than they are. Let's talk about this genocide that's taking place. Let's out these pedos. If you know names, say names. Like, do it. Like, fuck them. If it's proven, then fuck them. They should be outed for who they are, and hopefully bad things happen to them. I mean, it's so desperate. It's so desperate to think, like, that you're just so and the thing is, if I bring up the submarines, you're not going to have anything to say. You don't know anything about submarines. You're an idiot. You know nothing. You want me to talk about this instead of real world shit. And it makes sense. Seems like it's way more important to you than it is to me. And that you can't understand that something could be named something. Like, again, do you guys go to Smashing Pumpkins concerts and get mad because they're not on stage smashing a bunch of pumpkins? Is that how stupid you are? When you watch Nightline, do you expect to turn on the TV and it's just a line in front of the nighttime? Like, is this how this works? Are people really that stupid? When the show Home Improvement came on, did you think it was a home improvement show? And then you were mad because you weren't getting house tips and how to Bob Vila shit? Or did you understand that that was the name of the show? Especially if the name of the show existed and then next to it said part, like, obviously, and then the part was a different title. Like, it talked about, wouldn't you be able to discern that? I'm just wondering. When you watched Orange is the New Black, were you mad that it wasn't like people talking about orange being called black and then the arguments back and forth? What about 50 Shades of Grey? Did you look at that and be like, all right, where are they? I thought this was going to be a book with a bunch of different colors in it, the 50 different fucking versions of gray that I could. What is going on here? I am so mad. I am so mad right now. Like, is this how stupid people are? I just can't, you know. That's the best you can do. So instead of arguing the points being made, instead of denouncing the horrors like pedophilia and genocide and shit, you're like, no, I don't understand. This should only be about submarines. That's all you should talk about for, well, she's coming. Male lady. The female man.
Turn around. Come on, let's go in the house.
You are ridiculous.
Jesus.
Come on. Turn around. Go.
Come on. Let's go.
Like, this is the best shit that people make. This is the best that they can. I'm telling you, if they could say better things, they would. You think they like setting themselves up to look this stupid all the time? This is the best the chosen have to offer. And it should show you that we have no reason to fear them or feel inferior. Hey.
How are you?
Good, how are you? Thank you.
I'm making it.
You sure are. Have a great day. So many people are mad because I think we should kill pedos. That makes sense, doesn't it? You come to the feed, you're like, oh, sweet. Just what I was looking for, a discussion about submarines. Huh. There's so many of these to choose from, but I found this one right now, so I'm going to go watch this. I've been talking to my friends lately about submarines, so it's a really good thing that this guy's talking about, hey, he's not talking about submarines. What's going on here? That's really how that works from your perspective? And then you're like, well, Jesus, I was all prepared to talk about submarines. Not really, but if this thing's about anything else, I don't know what I'm going to do. What am I supposed to talk about? Genocide? What is a genocide? Is that like a generational... She can't hear you.
Yes, she did.
Is that like some sort of generational side of something? What is a genocide? Pedophilia? Oh, I don't care about that. And think about how fucking ridiculous this is. Everything they can possibly say, but pedophilia is disgusting. We need to figure out a way to eliminate those fucking people. This genocide taking place needs to stop. We need to figure out a way to do that. Nothing. They're just mad. They want to talk about submarines. How does that make sense to anyone? What do you even think you're doing? Get the heck out of here. I hate to use that kind of language with you. I know you're not used to hearing it, but I'm going to say it. Get the heck out of here. You know, I got my aura on blast.
Go
Right?
ahead, Bella. Don't be afraid of him.
I got my aura on blast. I'm the Skibbity Rizzler. And, you know, I got my squad. We're deep. And you're just super Ohio right now. I don't know why you're so Ohio. You don't have any Riz. You don't have any Riz? You can kiss my giat. You proposed to killing? I proposed to killing. Now genocide is bad. What? Like, this is how stupid it is, man. I can just at any point, I can fucking read a random comment, and it's always this dumb ass stupidity. It's amazing. Who else but the dumb chosen would fit into this category? They're just so stupid. And you can see it time and time again. if they actually have the balls to get into some sort of debate with someone, it's like, when you watch Alan Dershowitz talk about, no, I got a massage. It was a head and shoulder massage when I was at Epstein. Everybody was getting massages. Everybody was doing it. Or even if you watch like their chosen pundits like Charlie Kirk. Talk about an ugly fucking character, right? No. I don't think Palestine even exists. His fucking goofy ass mouth. The guy's there to talk about something serious, genocide. And Charlie comes out of left field with this, Palestine doesn't exist. Then what the fuck is going on? And who's being killed? Then what's being taken over? Then what are all those maps about? But this is how they operate, right? They're too stupid to make any reasonable arguments, so they just say the same stupid shit. Palestine doesn't exist. How could you possibly say something so stupid? But it works because it gets people into this circular argument. So instead of talking about, what's really going on, because it wouldn't matter whether you called it Judea or Samaria or Palestine or cuckoo kaka kiki kiki. It wouldn't matter. What we're talking about is the fact that the one group of people is killing children, targeting hospitals, targeting schools, relentlessly having people come to food distribution sites that they have all set up to dehumanize them to begin with, put them in cages and shit, and then shooting at them and killing them while they're trying to get food. Like, these are the most disgusting, worst people in the world, and you never hear anybody try to come to their actual defense because they can't. They just can't. They'll change the subject, they'll walk away, they'll do whatever they can. Oh, it's so stupid. You need a caller line, right? Because you can't make any reasonable points in type. So you being allowed to say dumb shit would make things so much better. So stupid. You get disco hair makers, blah 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 blah. People join. How are you not able to join in the debate here? You actually have the advantage here because you're not shooting from the hip. You can make your point and make sure it's spelled correctly without having the pressure of being live, where people can see your actual reactions to things and you're on the spot, required to respond to something immediately. Okay? There is no bringing people on here. It's stupid. All you want to do is have some pissing contest where you can sort of piggytail off my shit, You just want to fucking blow yourself and whatever. Nothing's stopping you from making any reasonable points in type. It's only a choice you're making. This is silly. Why are you going to keep repeating that you've got a topic? Say it. Just say what the fuck it's been, what it is. It's been, why would you spend all this time typing that out instead of saying, hey, what about this? It's just so stupid. Who does that shit? Here. If you just wait, I'll help you with that. And this is the best that the system has. This is the best they can come up with. If they could come up with something else, they would. But why again would anybody want to change the topic? Why is anybody saying, like, I don't want to talk about how do we how do we cut the head off the monster? I want to talk about the tentacles. There are so many other feeds out there that you could watch that talk all about the tentacles. Watch your head, Jesus Christ. You know if a bee comes up, you're gonna fucking hurt your head, right? Goof ass. Look at this shit. I'm supposed to pay attention to this shit, right? This is the shit. Like, what? Other than distraction, what's the point? They don't actually bring anything. They're too stupid. Yeah. I can't imagine what this dumbass keeps saying that he has a question for, but doesn't say it other than he doesn't have a question. He's just being stupid. What? Do you want one of them? Why don't you just wait a minute? You're literally making this much worse than it is.
Just making you nervous.
This one's doing the worst. I'd be worrying about that orange one's the best.
Well, it's got all the new buds on it. These are just dying off because they're old.
What's your beliefs on Iran? Iran should kick the shit out of bad guy land. But I also think it's a distraction.
That's going to cause a problem for us.
Where has Iran been for the last 600 plus days? Iran didn't do anything to help anyone. Iran is just responding to an attack.
Right.
And
hurt anybody?
right, nothing. And they actually went above and beyond trying to accommodate and prevent this shit. Like, I have tons of videos posted about it, and it's insane when the way it gets broken down. That's weird. That video's not here anymore. Here's of the Chicago scene from an airship, 1914. I can't play that. 1914 Chicago. Yep, we just built that. Built it and destroyed it. And it's all old in these pictures.
Hi, baby.
Look at that shit. That's amazing.
It's not very exciting over at our house today, baby. I'm sorry.
Never is. Our kids are boring.
Nick's just said it's not very
Nick's
exciting.
sick. Oh, look at this shit. Look at this dumb shit. All of these fucking genocidal pedophiles. It was time.
Yeah, it's almost noon.
Hmm? Not right now.
Yes.
In a minute. Shut up. Go in the house.
12 o'clock. You're fine.
Yeah, that's the time since I got up before you.
No, you're not.
Well, these guys are unbelievably desperate. And you do see, like, at this point now, they're actually responding to something in the video, something being said. So I'm directly speaking and then they were directly responding. Yet anytime we talk about the pedo stuff or the genocide stuff, they shut down. They don't have anything to say. It's like they're not hearing what's being said suddenly. They don't have nukes. Nukes aren't real. Nukes are shit that they use on us. It's an idea that they use on us to keep us in line. It reminds me of Clerks, when Dante and the broad are sitting behind the counter, and Dante has the sign that says, "Take the right amount of change, you're being filmed." Everybody just does it because they think they're being filmed. It's the same thing with the Iron Dome. Iran has proven that the Iron Dome doesn't exist. It's just a thought. It's just this idea that they've created by shooting rockets into agreed upon coordinates and then shooting them down. They say, oh, look, we have this Iron Dome. Nobody better shoot at us. Better not waste your time shooting at us because we can just shoot it all down. But Iran proved it wrong. Nobody's used nukes yet. We have nukes, but nobody's decided to just fucking say, fuck it. I'm going to just use one. They're going to kill us anyway. If you believe in nukes, then the one thing you believe about nukes is like a nuke goes off and then everything's full of radiation and it's uninhabitable forever and all this other shit, right? Well, what about Japan? They were hit with atomic bombs. What about Chernobyl, where basically the entire plant has been swallowed up by the vegetation around it, and it's actually thriving. Like the wolves and shit are thriving there because it's off limits to people. So, they're the apex predators, and the biodiversity and everything. What happened to making glass out of the sand and everything is a desert from here on out and blah blah blah. It's all bullshit, man. I'm not like you. I'm not some arrogant prick who sits here and tries to pick and choose which aspects I believe and which, well, this is real, but that's not real. That's real, but that's not real. No. I'm much more confident saying it's all bullshit. And until they actually prove something to me to be real, I'm going to keep continuing to think it's bullshit because they lie. It's all they do is lie. Everything that Netanyahu says is a lie. It's been proven and shown so many times. It's like a joke. And yet he continues to have some sort of credibility. He continues to be, this guy that the President of the United States listens to implicitly. This guy that the President of the United States pulls his chair out for him and pushes it in. Like he's the employee, like he's the subservient. I mean, just think about how crazy it is that American kids, American people are going to be dying fighting some bullshit, assassination, massacre, genocide of these horrible, perpetrated by these horrible people who hate the people. Not only they're attacking, but the people that are doing the attack. They hate us. They fucking hate us. And until we unify as Goyim, we unify in our strength and overthrow their chosen supremacy, their Semitism, we're just going to continue to be used and abused and annihilated. We're going to continue to be the cattle. And look at how we treat cattle. We literally use their bones for products, wear their skin, eat their flesh, eat their brains and shit. Like we do we use the cattle, all of it. That's how they think of us. And it's time that you understand that. How do you feel about Joe Biden? Immediately, who gives a fuck what Joe Biden does? Joe Biden is an idiot. He's just another fucking actor. Just like Trump is an actor. Trump is playing a role. Everything he says and does is scripted. If you fall for the idea of the president, you're a fucking fool. And most of you only fall for Trump because of the outward racism and bigotry and sexism and all the hatred associated with him. You're not confident enough to just say that you hate people of color, you hate gay people, you don't think women should have the same rights as men. You're not confident enough to just say that, so you put on your MAGA hat and you shout your silly slogans because you can't make any reasonable arguments. Ask yourself, where are all the cell phone videos and live feeds from the Trump shooting? Shouldn't there be just hundreds of different camera views of this supposed shooting? Where'd they go? That story sure went away quick. Nobody sure talks about that at all. I mean, we got to be coming up on the year anniversary of it, don't we? Weird. Wonder if they're going to make a big deal out of it. Walking around with the pillow on his head talking about, I'm going to only say this, I'm going to tell this story and I'm only going to say it one time. I'll never say it again. Why? Because he can't get the details correct both times. Like, he'll get shit wrong. And they all know it. They know he's too stupid. He's not going to memorize the script permanently. So he'll have the bullet points, but he'll get stupid shit wrong like he always does if he tries to tell the story a second time. He's such a dumbass. He's such a dumbass. Generalizing all white males invented. Yep, all white males. That's what I said. You have to love how people are too stupid to argue the point, so they make up their own things. You said this. No, I didn't. But hey, we know who you are. Thank you for identifying yourself. What's our solution then? That's the wrong your. Come on, buddy. You got it. You corrected it. I give you that. My solution, said it time and time again, is that we goyim unify and overthrow the chosen control scheme that keeps us in the position we're in. Until we're willing to overthrow our control mechanism and not be scared of being called, anti-supremacist or anti-supremacism, know how to respond to that. Until we start addressing what's really going on and the utter just ridiculousness of us being, supporting bad guy land like we do. It's just so against everything, especially someone like Trump who's all America first. Like, it's just so fucking foolish. But the only way we can fix it is if we unify. And that's what they're more scared of than anything. They believe that their Messiah is about to show up. And when he does, then each one of them gets 2,800 Gentile slaves. We're all slaves. If you're not chosen, you're a slave. Wake the fuck up. You claim that we're arrogant when you're the one that is. Wow, that was a really, really good comment there. Yep. I'm super arrogant, obviously. You don't know the difference between arrogance and confidence. I don't think I can play basketball better than everybody. I don't think I can do a math competition better than everybody. I don't think I can draw better than everybody, paint better, I think that this little girl that's here right now can draw way better than I can. Arrogance is not my thing. I'm confident. I know when it comes to this particular issue, I've got y'all beat. And all you ever do is prove it. You prove the point with all of your stupid comments, doing everything you can to try to attack people that do say anything real. Like, it's just goofy. And you're so stupid you don't realize you're doing it. if you open up the books on Israel, you demonize Israel stupid. That's what they said. It's what you said when the UN in 2022 was talking about opening up the books on the bad guy land and uh, talking about the fact that this is beyond a temporary occupation. This is a colonization. And we want to open up the books and see what you guys have been doing. The response was, no, if you open up the books on us, you're going to demonize us. And that just shows you how somebody there thought that was a good response. And because it's all one connected fucking octopus, the pundits all repeated it, knowing how stupid it was, but counting on us being too stupid to realize it. If you open up the books on us and you look at what we've done and who we are, that's going to demonize us. It's all right there. How do you not see what that is? And that's the same stupidity that comes my way. Just over and over again. Charlie Kirk's a dumbass. I already talked about Charlie Kirk. He's a fucking dumbass. Bought and paid for dumbass. He looks like one of those pinhead guys from the 20s, from those freak movies. It's sad. Those are really sad stories. But the way his hair sits on the top of his cone head, almost like a yarmulke. It's pretty funny. He's one ugly character, man. And you just think, in a world where we celebrate pretty characters, for such an ugly character to be there, it's interesting. Especially since he's so dumb. I mean, the argument where Israel doesn't exist thing is just, I guess I see it in the way it works. I see how it works, and I see why they try to use it, because it drags people into a really stupid argument where you're like, no, it does. It does exist. I can see it on a map. What are you talking about? No, I don't see it. It's called Judea and Samaria. It's like, who gives a shit what it's called? The one group of people who believe themselves to be born superior to everybody else is committing genocide against the other group of people there. And since they've already killed or arrested most of the men, most of the people being killed now are children. Women and children. That's what the real fucking narrative is. That's what the story is. That's what who cares what you call it? Blah, blah, blah. Nice try. But the real argument is who gives a fuck? Let's talk about what's happening. Yeah, what happened to you, Matt? Where'd you go? Blah, 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 third grade. Blah. If I'm smarter than you, this much smarter than you, that I just keep making you look stupid, and I only passed the third grade, what the fuck does that say about your dumbass? My God. You have to be as stupid as it gets. It's amazing. It's amazing to be part of this. To have been doing this for as long as I have, and to see they know my entire plan of attack. They know exactly what I'm going to say. And yet they still can't come up with anything to the contrary. And how could they? How is anybody going to sit here and argue to the benefits of genocide, huh? No. It's okay. Use another one if you need to. It doesn't really matter. It's what they're there for. Did you use the right one? Did you use the one furthest to the wall?
No.
Go get the one furthest to the wall. You can use that one, it's fine. Unless you don't want to use it with the fruit in it. Watch out. Yeah, the rat, that's why I wouldn't use it. Yeah, they're not the yummiest smelling things sometimes. Sometimes they smell good. Oh, Jesus Christ. Look at how dumb this is. His claim is nukes don't exist is even worse. Yep. What proof do you have? You saw some videos of models that got destroyed while the camera remained steady? That's what it's based on? Some pictures you saw on TV? Some shit you were told to think, so you think that way? I guess it's on you.
Mitch trying to use the computer and take video games. He's not allowed to do that. He can't have both.
Says who?
With me. I want to play with you.
Oh, yeah. Here, take the phone.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
Clear view down there.
Refill those?
Huh?
I can refill those.
I don't think so. Watch out. Oh my god. Oh, that's even the other one, so it doesn't matter. It's so crazy. Look at these dumb ass fucking comments. As always, not one of them says we need to kill pedos. Not one of them says we need to stop the genocide. They're all just trying to get attention. Isn't that strange? Sleepers on training grounds. Like, I mean, it's just dumb. It's boring. My perspective, I don't have a perspective. It's dumb. I don't care. That's my perspective. I know you don't like that. I guess you didn't hear it the first time, but that's my perspective. I think if you're dumb enough to believe the narratives that you're given, then it doesn't really matter. When they control how you think, then what you think is secondary. That's what, Neil deGrasse Tyson, that motherfucker, I hate that guy. But he was on Joe Rogan once, and Joe asked him about it, and he responded with something along those lines, like, I don't argue with people anymore about what they think. To me, what's important is how people think. If you question whether the earth is round, well, then he doesn't want to talk to you. If you accept that the earth is round, then he'll talk to you because you already believe what he's preaching. And that's what they do. They control how we think about things. People dumb enough to think that Jesus is real and shit like that. If they can get you to believe in that shit, they already know they have you under control. If you believe in the intangible authority figure, you're much more likely to accept the tangible authority figure. Even if you know, just like the intangible is bullshit, once you've been programmed to accept whatever the authority says, doesn't matter whether it's tangible or not. You've already accepted the authority bubble, the authority moniker. But look at this comment. Look at these trying to stroke each other and they're arguing. I mean, it's just silly. Attacking those who don't agree but can't actually debunk anything. Not a thing that I've said has been debunked. They don't even really address it. They might say like some half-assed dumb shit, but not a single thing. And this is how they operate. And I appreciate them for putting on such a good shit. Go get your free download. It's funny, I'm not allowed to edit the description of the video until after it's uploaded now, at least today. But if you want, the same description will be in every video. So just go to yesterday's video and you'll see, which, the reason they do that is because I just forget to do it. And then I won't put as many tags in, and there's no tags in it. Once it gets uploaded, there's no tags until after I add them afterward. So if I forget to do it, then the video gets no tags and the video has no description. But see, it's actually really crazy. Shouldn't work this way, but it seems to today. And some other days it does that too. Any of you can prove me wrong. Go live. When you're done, click on the thing while it says it's processing, and it'll give you the option to edit video or delete video. Only thing I have is to delete. It's all so obvious. It's all so obvious. So go check all the shit out. Go get the free download, www.the-bilderberg, bilderberg-group.com. Go check out the link to Hollywoodism, the most important film ever made. It's them telling on themselves, basically, but in a bragging sort of way. They're just so stupid that they make this braggart video that proves the conspiracy about Hollywood is true. And then there's going to be links to two of our newer songs, although we did just drop a new song called Sleight of Hand Job and another new one called What Up Doe, Detroit thing. But we're always dropping new songs, so go get the free download, go to the Facebook page, go check out the videos. The newest song has Charles painted this crazy scene. You got to check it out. Yeah, go check the shit out. Have a great day. And as always, the most important thing I can ever say is that you pedophiles, kill yourself.